Hey, it's Barry.
And Dave.
And Jake.
Here with our next episode of Hooked on Saltwater. Today we're doing something completely different. We're going to start jumping into the instructional parts of our videos to kind of help you guys when you're out getting out there, whether you're just getting started. We'll show some different techniques and tips on, everything from rods to reels. And today we're going to specifically talk about throwing a cast net, because it's a great way to go out there and get some bait if you get too late to get to the shop to get it from Jake, who closes at 5. So
also, we don't carry some of the baits because a lot the Maharas and the greenies, they just don't stay alive like other baits. I think we talked about it in that last episode, that you can't really cram them in the tank.
Right.
So they have a shorter shelf life, so we tend not to carry those ones at the shop as much, but you can catch them yourselves, and this will be how you can do that yourself.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right,
so we're going to cover how to cast a net, right? Some of the basics, maybe a little more deeper, some of the techniques.
Yep.
And I think everyone kind of has their style, so you need to find out what works for you. I know I experimented with several till I found out what worked with me and my body and the net itself, the height of the net, the weight of the net, it all comes into play. So
that's for
this
sure.
takes practice.
Yep.
I guess that's my point.
I sat at my house when I was younger for hours and hours and practiced throwing my net in the front yard. I can't even tell you how many hours I've practiced, but now, I can hit whatever bait I want, and I encourage y'all to do the same.
Right.
Take that time, practice in the backyard, get your technique down, so when you go out and you need to catch bait, you're proficient at it.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're going to get right to it now.
Okay.
Jake's going to do his thing.
Do his thing. One good recommendation while Jake's going ahead and getting the net is, whether you're practicing on land, you might not want to just go jump on the deck of your boat first time out with a cast net and try throwing. You may wind up in the water with the net. So always good to start somewhere where you've got some solid land, solid ground below your feet.
Yep.
That way when you start casting, you'll get a better feel for it. That way when you are in a boat, you got a better idea what you're doing.
Because when you're swinging that weight, it rocks the boat. So
watch where that rope is, check your feet.
Yep.
Don't want to go in the drink.
First off, all I want to say is you don't ever tie this off to your hand. Always have it a slip knot right here. Don't ever tie this to your hand, because if you're in some current and you snag that rock and you're on the boat, you want to be able to get this off your hand as fast as you can. We had a couple people die recently down at the inlet throwing the net, had this thing tied off to their wrist, and they were just done from the beginning. So
I hear even commercial guys wear a knife just in case.
Yep.
Safety.
Safety.
Cut the string.
Absolutely.
Well, first off, we're going to go ahead.
The camera.
All right, so what size net are we going to start out with here?
This is my net. This is my personal 8-foot net, and it is a 1/4-inch mesh. I like the 1/4 because it doesn't gill your bait, and you don't come out with a Christmas tree with all the fish sticking out of it.
Yep.
So a smaller net does help, but then there's bigger mesh sizes for the bigger fish, and throwing a net in deeper water to allow it to sink. And as we were talking about earlier, these even nets with tape around them to help that net spread out once it hits the water and hitting bait in deeper water. So we'll go.
I was saying, just to be clear, when we're talking about gilling, we're talking about the heads kind of get through the mesh, but the body doesn't, and it's extremely difficult to be able to get those fish out and keep them alive, either to turn them loose or put them in your bait bucket. So yeah, net size is important. So make sure you've got the size net that it's gonna be appropriate for what you're going after.
Right, for what kind of bait, how big it is and everything.
Yep.
First of all, you're just gonna slide this guy right over your wrist, and like I said, make sure you can get it out and it's not gonna lock down. I cinch down my line, give it a couple.
Let's take close up to that. The wrist.
The wrist, I like mine loose, so I can just boom, throw it off if I can, and then it'll tighten up as I need it.
Yep.
I grab my first hand, go arm length, repeat until you get down to the horn. Talk about that too. One good thing you want to look at on your net is the horn and how open this is and how freely it's able to, your lines are able to come in and out. If you have a horn that's too small, you're not going to get that spread and everything. We're going to go ahead, lift this up. This is an 8-foot net, like I said. What I do, I usually go, well, first things first, I'll fold it in half. And then what I do, I'll go through my net, make sure it's not tangled, None of my lead lines are tangled in there, and we'll probably show you here in a minute what that looks like. So they all look free. So I'm gonna go ahead, drop my net again. I fold mine in half. A lot of people, it depends on what size net you use. Fold it, don't fold it. You know, it's all about what you're comfortable with. I fold mine. What I'll do is I'll take an arm's length out, go ahead and put a gap about that big right in between the weights, right in my mouth, pull it with my teeth, and I take 1, 2 little links and make sure your net is not tangled. All right, and then basically I'll throw this other half over my shoulder like this. Now I'll be walking down the water looking for my bait. Then when I'm ready, I load, I go back. Depends on how far that bait is out in the water. If I'm doing a short throw and just dropping it here, or if I'm doing a long throw, I'll do a full 180. But basically, you're gonna wanna go forward, back, get that momentum, and go ahead and throw and release everything at the same time. And then you're gonna go ahead and pull that in. I like to go level with the water, make sure it's scraping the bottom of the seafloor to make it, all those bait go right up in your net. And it looks like we got a little something in here this time. I'll bring it all up on shore. And like I said, this is a 1/4 inch mesh. This is a small bait fish, but this is exactly why I use a smaller mesh, because these bait fish do not get gilled in here. We're gonna go ahead and lift this guy out. There you go, Barry.
Yep.
It is a bit messy. Watch out. We got a blue crab in there too.
Oh, good bait.
Bait
Good
right
bait.
there. All right.
Small guy.
Yeah.
Can't keep him.
You can use them for bait, but that's that hole. We're gonna mess with this crab right here. Here's a little
Even the small guys hurt, folks, so you want to mess with them.
silver Jenny. Little great snook baits right there. He's a little bit little, so we're gonna throw him on back. We got a little sand perch in here. This is what we mean by gilled right here. When they get up to their neck, right in the mesh, you know, that's a little thin fish, but a lot of times what you do with these, you push them forward. Don't pull them back, push them forward and pop them out. And that's the best way to release that fish healthy and alive. I tend to not take those that have been gilled. And then here we go, a little crab. He's probably gonna bite me, he'll pinch me.
Free.
Oh, there you go, come on, get back.
Crab. Oh, Mr. Crab, you're free.
Don't step on them now, so we're gonna pinch my toes later.
Them little guys will hurt you.
Yes, they will.
All right, now that right there was the basic, if the bait is right there at your feet, and I'm gonna demonstrate a full 360 throw. And here we go, we're gonna pull the line up. I'll rinse this off a little bit, and then like I said, we're gonna go through, make sure your lead lines are not crossing over and all tangled. See, there you go, that's a tangle, that's right there. Will cause you to
right there.
Yep, mess it up and not get a nice pancake. We're trying to throw nice pancakes today. All right, thank you, Barry. All right, so we're ready there. All right, here we go. We got our net all untangled. We're gonna take that arm's length, put it in your mouth, get a nice handful of line in. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna step off of this slope so I'm here level with the water. So you're gonna be watching your bait, keep your eye on the bait, and you're gonna do a full 360 and throw it out, just like that. And then you're gonna bring your rope low to the water as low as you can so it scrapes, and pulling in them fish. See what we got this time, if anything. We got a leaf. We got leaf fish.
Probably after that first cast, you're gonna...
Yeah, you gotta move. They spook, you gotta keep walking.
They may come back after a while, but normally you're gonna have to take a...
Now, Jake, on that net, you got You got lead or you got the plastic, plastic?
This net right here is a real lead net. I like them. A little bit more money. It sinks faster. This is a bait buster, 8-foot minnow net, like I said, 1/4-inch mesh. And it's so far my favorite net. It's a little bit heavy, but when the fish are in a little bit deeper, it does a good job.
Now, Jake, the tighter, the smaller the mesh, slower it drops, right?
Yes.
The larger the mesh, the quicker
It'll drop. Yes, if you're getting bait in deeper water, you do want to go ahead and use a bigger mesh, and that's for, you know, larger baits and everything, and it will help your net sink properly. All right, we're here with a little bit smaller of a net. We're gonna go 7 foot and show you a little bit of a difference. This one is way lighter. It's got a bigger mesh. As you can see right here, it looks like 3/8, maybe 5/6 and that, yeah. All right, same technique. This one, a full right in half. I wouldn't say quite so much in half because it is a little bit smaller. 7 foot, I believe this net is. Same technique. You can take a little arm's length out, put it in your mouth. This one's lighter, so I don't have to do my full 360 on this one. So we're gonna spot your bait. I was gonna say that pine needle out there is our bait. Cock back, 1/4 turn. And remember, let go of everything at the same time. Let this all roll right off your hands and release everything. All right, 1/4 turn. Right there, right over the pine needle. We're gonna pull her in. Oh, we got something. I saw something flashing in there.
Some color.
See if we kept them.
Yep.
Yeah, finger mullet. Oh, trout. Nope. Dave, it's your favorite. Got you a little baby trout here.
Baby trout.
I'm gonna rinse it.
There you go. Be sure to release these guys. You will catch undersized snook, trout, flounder, all sorts of goodies in here, but just please be sure to release those safely and sustain the fishery for all of us.
Absolutely.
And for the children. I want to be able to have my children catch the same fish as I caught, you know. I don't want them to go extinct. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and release or rinse that off. This one I'm not quite folding in half. I'd say 1/4 of the way. Once again, just get comfortable with the net that you got and practice with it. It's the best way to get these fish. There you go. Let's try another technique. We'll try without going in the mouth. Let's see if, because you can throw it without having it in the mouth. We'll see if this one works.
Yeah, some people don't like
that salt water,
they don't like the taste of
grittiness
salt. That's it.
Yeah. I would same technique. Make sure you have an opening, you know, something to open that net with. So we're gonna just do a half turn, see how this goes.
That's pretty good.
There's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. And this net is definitely a lot lighter, so it helps to get that distance and find out what's comfortable with. Oh, another baby trout. Might be the same one.
Might be the same one. All right, little guy.
Oh, yeah.
Go off this direction. There we go. Nice to see those little ones around.
Yep, that's a good sign of a healthy lagoon.
Future 10-pounder there.
But I'd say that's about, you know, sums it up. There's more than one way to throw a net. Find out what suits you best and, you know, practice.
Yep, absolutely. One last thing that I want to make clear. When Jake's talking about coming down halfway, he's talking about from the bend. So really, you're bringing the horn down to half of the net, not halfway this way, but it's halfway of the whole, the total net.
Right, the total net. Almost halfway.
Yep.
I always grab about half, you know, maybe a little less, a little more. It depends on.
About in that area.
Yeah, about what I'm throwing for.
Yep. That works.
That's a good way to catch your own bait. And if you got any questions, definitely drop us a line. You know, feel free to give us a call at the shop, 321-821-4440.
You got nets down at the shop?
We got nets down at the shop. And if you need a personal lesson, I'll come out and, you know, show you how we throw a net and get you comfortable with the net that you buy.
Absolutely. All right, cool. Gonna wrap this one up. See you next week.